Of the United States of America, Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
And here we go.
Good morning, everybody. Oh my goodness. What are we going to get to first today? What are we going to talk about first today? We have a lot to talk about. 60 minutes or close to it. Here on the Soriano Network. It is the 29th day of January, the year 2025. It is 6:45 in the morning. All DOE employees off today for Lunar New Year. So happy New Year. I will be having my Chinese food today. Only question is whether I'm going to get from Hong Kong, Taiwan, or China Chalet. I love Hong Kong, Taiwan. They've been my go-to for a while. But last couple times, I don't know, China Chalet has been just hitting home run on top of home run on top of home run recently. Or do I travel to my old stomping grounds in Port Richmond to get Mr. Rice? Now, that is something that we could discuss. And also, what is your favorite Chinese food? We can go over that. But I want to start, you know what? Let's start with we got Jets to go over today. Obviously, the Aaron Glenn press conference was the other day, and we had spoken on this program about what we thought of the Aaron Glenn hire. Now, to me, I personally like Aaron Glenn. I do. I think that he is passionate, and also the fact that he wants to actually be in New York. I'm a Jets fan. Not many people want to be with us. Not many people want to be Jet fans. Okay? So, to me, the fact that he wants to be here is a plus. The fact that he played with us is a plus. He was a pretty damn good player, too. Passionate guy. His press conference was exciting. It was full of energy. It was full of passion. But how do I know that this is just not Saleh and Douglas 2.0 with a little bit more passion? You know, let's remember Saleh's press conference, all gas, no brakes. And how'd that work out? I could already see it now. Get on, buckle up, get ready for the ride. You know, when we have these press conferences with these coaches and they throw out interesting tidbits of information, this and that and sound bites, it's fun, it's exciting to digest for a little bit. But then you have to go over, okay, the product on the field. And yeah, we'll start with the Jets, being that we're already going into it, right? First of all, was there any questions for the general manager? Also, I felt like he just was there. He was a wallflower, and he was just there for the ride. But Glenn, to me, I think he will be somebody that'll be a good head coach. Once again, do I think it's going to be here in New York? I don't know. We've gone through this so many times as Jet fans where we are the guinea pigs. We are the ones that um, are subject to testing out the new head coach. He's another defensive hire, first year head coach. And that's something to me that I'm like, okay, we keep going down this road again. At some point, when are we going to do anything about it? And the one guy that we did hire recently was Adam Gase with head coaching experience, and that was a disaster. Okay. Me personally, this time around, if we weren't going to go offensively, I would have went Brian Flores. We all know how I feel about that. But again, don't want to sit here and shit on Aaron Glenn. I hope he does great. I hope he does great. Like I said, the passion, wanting to be here. I hope he does great. But there's a lot of work to do. Okay. Um, and I think here's what he needs to do to be successful here. Okay. Uh, and as I was watching his press conference, I'm like, you know what? Let's jot some stuff down. What Mr. Glenn can do. Okay. Number one, to me, he's got to hire an offensive coordinator who can utilize Rodgers and the weapons around him. Because quite frankly, that has not been the case in years now, since Rodgers has been here, since really any quarterback has been here. We have not had an offensive mind that can utilize the quarterback of the Jets, whoever that may be, and the weapons around him, whoever they may be. We just haven't had that. So we have to sit here and get a guy in here that can do that. And I think that's one of Aaron Glenn's biggest things to do is to get that. Um, you got to have a and apparently he's had discussions with Rodgers, but you got to have that football conversation with him. Get him on board the jet train. I think Rodgers is, but again, that's got to be done. So you got to hire an offensive coordinator that knows his stuff, that can utilize everything in front of him. Have that conversation with Rodgers. Focus on rebuilding parts of the offensive line because it's a mess right now. It has been for a while. I don't think the last time I can remember the last time we had a good offensive line as a Jet fan. Uh, Focus on rebuilding that in the draft, 100%. And this goes for obviously the general manager as well. So both of them are on board here. Uh, you got to get everyone on the offensive side of the ball. Hall, Adams, Wilson, excited about a fresh new look, fresh new offense. You got to get them excited. You got to get them on board. I think the morale of this team was absolutely just gutted. And I don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers, that it was Aaron Rodgers' fault. I know Aaron Rodgers is the sexy pick to, uh, pick out of the bunch to blame. I know a lot of people, don't like him because he didn't get the vaccine that the government told him to. And that's why dickheads like Dan Le Batard and all these other guys and, Ryan Clark. Well, Ryan Clark hates white people, but all these people that want to sit there and rip on Aaron Rodgers. Are you ripping on Aaron Rodgers because you want to rip on Aaron Rodgers and that you know he's the problem? Or because he didn't get the vax that Anthony Fauci said to get. Which why did Anthony Fauci get pardoned again? I thought he was a trusted guy that told us to trust the science. More on that in a minute. So you got to get them focused and ready for a fresh start. Okay. Um, if I'm Glenn, I would hire a defensive coordinator that he's worked with before and that he trusts. You have to have everyone in the building on the same page. And I think that's going to be the start to something here. So both sides of the ball, offensive coordinator, you got to get somebody in that can utilize Rodgers because I think Rodgers will be the quarterback. And that's a whole nother discussion with is he the option, is he not the option? I'll get on that after I do the whole Aaron Glenn stuff here. Okay. Hire a defensive guy that he's worked with before, that he trusts. Key. Okay. I would sign Jamie and Sherwood long term. That's another one that I do right out of the chute. Upgrade the secondary, solidify the defensive line. Okay. And all of this is possible if there's accountability. And he discussed that in his press conference about responsibility and accountability and all this. He said all the right things. He did say all the right things. Okay. And, again, we've seen this before. We've seen people say cool things. Like I said, Robert Saleh, all gas, no brakes. He was a fucking disaster as the head coach. Okay. So to me, if you are going to sit here and anoint him after a press conference, it's not good at all. Uh, but do you keep an open mind? Obviously, I guess you have to. But I'm going in not the glass half full, but a little bit empty, a little bit empty. Okay. Now, Rodgers, for example. Okay. I think that he is the guy that you have to go into 2025 with. 100%. Is he well over 40? Yes. 100%. Is he an old man? Yes. Does he have that grizzled veteran look? Yes, he does. He does. Was he first or second in categories this year? No, he wasn't. He was top 10. And to me, I feel that he could still zip the ball. Now, that could all die next year. I think you have to have a backup plan. I think the problem with the Jets is that Rodgers can still play, I think, in my opinion, of what he showed this year in 2024. Obviously, there were days that he looked like a 40-something-year-old man out there, but he could still play. Okay. And if you surround him with a good offensive line, I'm telling you right now, he could be what he was in 24 or a little bit better. Okay. Now, there is that chance that he could start the year and it could be like Mickey Mantle, where he just was like, wow, I'm just not getting it done. And the thing is, Rodgers isn't going to do that. He's going to sit there and stick it out. So my thing is, you have to have a backup plan. You have to have a plan B and a plan C. And I think that's what the Jets have lacked over the last couple of years is that they have not had a backup plan at all. They have not had a nuclear option plan at all. And my thing is, you have to think about these things. 100% you have to think about this. There was no, oh, well, maybe we can sit here and, you know, hope for the best. No, the days of hope are over. Okay. You have to have this all mapped out, all carved out. Okay. Now, do they draft the quarterback? Do they sign somebody? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. And I'm not in the Jets front office. But I know what they have to do is that they have to have a plan B. They have to have a plan C and they have to have a plan D. And that's 100% what they need to have. Or else it'll just go all to shit. And they have to have that. Now, my 2 cents is you do that, you were 5-12 this year. Okay. There's no reason why you do all those things. The talent on this team, you can't go 9-8, 10-7, and compete for a playoff spot. It's not out of the ordinary. I think the Super Bowl talk, I think we can calm that down a little bit, at least for a while. But my thing is, we've gone 14 years without playoffs. 14 years. How bad is that? 14 years. And we've had talented teams. So my thing is if he can come in here, change the culture, 9-8, 10-7, compete for a playoff spot, squeak in as the last seed or the sixth seed, I'm happy. I'm happy. But it's going to take a lot. It's not impossible, but it can be done. Um, Giants, will they draft Sanders? And another thing about this punk, he's just sitting there. He is, I want to say, one of the most annoying people on the planet. One of the most annoying people on the planet is this Shakur Sanders. Okay, and we'll get to that also. Um, also, does anyone care about the NHL anymore? Is Scott Boras ruining the game of baseball? No, it's not the Dodgers, as much as everyone would like to think that. Um, how many Scott Boras clients do we have now? We're about a week away from spring training starting. And how many Boras clients are not signed? Bregman, Alonso. Okay, will Alonso go to the Mets? I know he's like a little lost, battered puppy dog that wants to go back to his owner. He's so pathetic. But you gotta, I guess, respect that he wants to be a Met. But after all that's happened, I would just cut the losses. But he's like a little puppy dog that he just doesn't want to go away from his owner. He doesn't want to go away. He doesn't. He's a little puppy dog that doesn't want to leave Queens. So we'll get to that. And also, Selena Gomez cried and she embarrassed herself. But I have a solution for Selena Gomez, and we will play that uh, in the show. So come on back with us, okay? And we will get to the bottom of everything. And Selena Gomez, don't worry, we will come up with a solution for you and your people, as you say. Okay? We're back after this.